Married with AB Boxing News. We have a very special guest from the UFC game, Funk Master Aljamain Sterling. Champ, what's going on, man? How's everything?
Not bad, doing all right. Just quarantining and chilling, you know.
There you go. What is one thing you learned about yourself during this quarantine that you probably didn't know about yourself before?
That I didn't know. It's hard to say what I didn't know, but maybe that I like to sleep when I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm pretty productive. I think I've been pretty productive throughout this entire process, and that's always a positive. So I think it's been good that I've been able to give my body some rest from time to time, where I'm typically up early in the morning and just grinding out through the night.
For the fight fans, this may be the last year for yourself. I know you had to go through a lot of adversity. Just recall a little bit about the process and with the surgeries you just had. Hopefully you're all recovered and we want to see you back in the ring. Just tell us a little bit in terms of the adversity. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans want to know just the journey of that.
Well, it's been a very interesting one. I've been out for almost a year now, come June 8th. Luckily for me, not really luckily, but it's only a leap year for this year. So I got an extra day in there. But other than that, it's been tough. Having surgery, not working. This is the biggest surgery procedure they said you can have on your hand, which is the scaphoid luminate ligament. Controls everything from punching, manipulating the wrist, picking things up, doing push-ups, doing handstands. All the things that I'm so used to doing, I was having a lot of difficulty doing over the past 4 years. And eventually, my body finally had enough, and I got the procedure done at HSS with Dr. Hotchkiss. And he's done a bunch of these already, but he said for me, I kind of ran it into the ground, and I was almost at that point of no return. And luckily, they were able to. He was actually really fascinated and blown away by my recovery. So far, so good. The main thing I'm trying to get back is that range of motion. Other than that, I'm pretty confident and ready to go for June. And it's just been, like I said, it's been an up and down roller coaster, man. Just watching the division kind of go by. Even though it's been a little bit of a standstill with the champion hurt himself.
Yeah.
Just seeing all the action going down and not being able to take part. So I think it's a little bit of a bittersweet thing, giving my body the time that it needs to get back to 100%. And just missing out on that action. Coming alive is what I like to call it. When you go out there competing, there's no other way to describe it. It's just like a spiritual takeover, man. You're just out there having fun, and it's I don't think there's any other bond as unique as two females training.
Yeah.
And, getting out there to leave it all on the line and really testing each other's mental and physical spirits.
There you go. Credits to the UFC. I think all fight fans depend. It doesn't even matter what fan of combat sports you are, but you guys are opening up at your return with no audience May 9th, May 13th, May 16th. Reactions as a fighter. I'm assuming you must be super excited to have at least the sport back. Meanwhile.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have some type of normalcy again. Give us something to watch on TV outside of professional dodgeball and curling. And people going down a slip and slide on ESPN and throwing little rubber balls at each other. It's been a very interesting 2 months, I would say. So to go back and get some type of that normalcy in life and getting some type of sports, some type of competitive feel, I guess. I don't know the right word for it right now. But it's just fun, So to be able to get the world moving from the complete standstill and being someone who's actually a part of that whole thing is going to be real liberating. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully everything goes as planned. May 9th, and they can roll out the carpet for the other fights, and I can get ready to go June 6th and make some money, have some fun, and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And hopefully continue that ascension to the top to challenge for that world title, which will be being defended May 9th. So I get the opportunity to watch and then get ready to propel myself off the motivation of that and seeing who I will have to fight next or who I'm going to try to stake my claim to fight next.
I also want to give a credit to you because I did a little research. I also followed your career, and knowing that you have a high rankings in your weight class, bantamweight, correct me if I'm wrong, and I read a lot of articles in regards to you. You always want to fight. You always want to challenge yourself. You don't want no easy way to the top. And not a lot of fighters do that nowadays. So I do want to commend you for that because It's very rare for nowadays, man. So, like you said, you're waiting until the fight with the champion, the title fight. For you, like, what has always been a dream fight for you? Growing up as a kid, or even now, maybe.
I mean, the biggest fight that I've always wanted when he was on top, but he's actually fighting for the world title on May 9th against Henry Cejudo, who is the champion of my weight class. I'm currently ranked second right now behind Marlon Moraes, who I lost to about 2.5 years ago at this point. And managed to rattle off 4 straight wins against top 10, top 15 competition, and top 5 as well. And I battled back through some major adversity to get back to this point. And to be able to fight a guy like that, if he were to be able to win this fight on short notice against Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz, that would be a dream fight that I would love to have. Kind of a passing of the torch. And a guy I've been watching since I was in college and even in high school. So if I can go out there and do what I got to do and get a shot at him, if he wins the belt, all the stars have to align. At the end of the day, that would just be a fun fight, a legend fight for myself and a guy who's made the pathway for us smaller fighters. People didn't really respect the small fighters. They didn't think we could knock people out. They didn't think we were dangerous. And he's been paving the way for us. And I think now people are starting to see that we don't actually weigh 135 pounds. We cut down to that weight class. Some of us cut 15 to 30 pounds. Myself, I cut down from sometimes 170 pounds to 135. And, I can get pretty big, but that would be the guy I would love to stack myself up against and see if I can take that torch from him and keep the evolution of the sport going, So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But he, like I said, he would have to win that fight. If not, in a perfect world, Henry Cejudo wins, and I win my next fight, June 6th, and I get the next shot at the title.
There you go. Moving forward, we know you got a big fan base. Social media, everybody loves you. Repost your tweets. Instagram, they like your photos. As a fighter, we know that you love when your fans are there to support you. Is there any sense of shame to be like, man, I wish my fans were here to see me live and they have to watch me on TV? Is there that type of sense or not really at this point?
I'm indifferent about that. I love that. I do love having the roar of the crowd or the boos of the crowd. Either way, it energizes me, it keeps me going. It gets me up to want to compete. If you're booing me, I want to prove you wrong. And if you're out there cheering and supporting me, I want to make sure that you feel confident and you're happy that you're cheering for the right guy. So that's kind of the way I like to approach the game. So there's never no negative pushback, no matter what the crowd is doing. And to not have any fans, it's kind of like sparring at the gym and no one's there watching, And that's the same thing that we're doing right now. Preparing at my friend's house, Ally Quinta, also in the UFC, another top contender in the UFC lightweight division. And we're sparring, we got the camera out, so it's like the camera's on, we're watching, we know it's being filmed, and we know there's no one there watching besides the few people who are at the house. And it's going to be very similar, Yeah. I just know the world is watching. This is one of those things where we're going to be under a microscope, and everyone is going to be walking by to catch a glimpse and see what's going on. What's the big hoorah about, And I want to make sure I give them something to really keep buzzing. And that's really it. So whether the fans are in the arena or at home sitting from their couch, I'm going to make sure I put on a show for them to really have something that's entertaining them during this quarantine period.
There you go. Blessings. I always tell fans, fans were like, oh, the fight should fight the best, which I agree. But I always tell fans that you guys are also prize fighters. You guys are going to fight the best, and you also got to make your money. Recently, last 5 years, we looked at a lot of crossovers. UFC taking on boxing. You're a big star in UFC. Ever thought of crossing over, maybe like calling out a fighter to come to the UFC, or you going to the boxing, knowing that fans love those type of crossover events?
Yeah, 100%. If any of these boxers would ever have the cojones to come over and cross over to the MMA octagon again, I know they see what happened to their guy James Tooney, and I think it's a tall order for them to try to pick something up like that in such a short amount of time. Remember, we've been wrestling and grappling for years.
Yeah.
So for a boxer to come over, that's a tall task for them to fill. But, it's always fun and games when we get to come over there and they get to show us the art of boxing over an 12-minute boxing fight, rounds, sorry. So for you guys to have that is cool. And for us, we love the challenge. We're always going to feel comfortable and I almost can like put ourselves out there, like, you know what, we got nothing to lose. You know, this is your field. You know, there's nothing for me to lose. This is your fight to lose, and I got the opportunity to make myself look good in the boxing world. That yes, I can strike. Just because we are unorthodox in our striking approach doesn't mean we don't understand the game or respect the game of the sweet science of boxing. So for me, I would love to come over.
Yeah.
If there was a fight that made sense where it would actually be competitive. I'm not going to call it like a Lomachenko, you know, a guy like that. He's a stud. Even though I think I could do okay, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, I've seen the guy fight bigger men. And he's a tough dude, you know, so I respect that. So that's a guy I definitely love watching. And fighting at the same weight, I do know I would have my work cut out for me. But I would like to see some of those guys come over to us and like to repay them a favor. You know, I would be up for boxing and then doing an MMA fight after that. And even if it was like half MMA, half boxing, something like that.
That'd be dope.
I had to survive the boxing rounds first, and then bring them into my world. You know, I think that'd be something cool.
There you go. Talking about weight class, I know UFC in terms of weight class is different in boxing. You know, your 35 is bantamweight, our 35 is lightweight. You know, you're talking about Loma, but you know, the other good names I think with you to promote the fight and the way you guys personalities, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis. I think that would be a great fight down the road for you guys to cross over. You know, I think it would be big. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Those are big names, and like you said, this is a prize fight, man. I'm here to fight the best. I'm trying to make some money, cut the checks, and you know, set my future up. That's really what this whole thing is about. All the other hoorah stuff, I mean, it's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure I get as much out of the sport as it takes away from me and my body, my brain, my mental. You know, so my quality of life. You know, I put that all on the line each time I step into the training room, each time I step into the octagon. So each sparring session, you know, so I want to make sure that I get as much out of it as it's taken away from me, as much as I'm dedicating, leaving a piece of me out there on that canvas and in the gym. I want to make sure I'm getting some type of quality of life at the end of the day. So that's kind of the way I try to look at things, and I think I'm on the right path. You know, I train smart. I try to take unnecessary risks, and I try to minimize the risks, I should say, and in training. And this way, I have a little bit more to give under the bright lights. And so far, so good. And hopefully, by the time it's all said and done, man, I want to ride off to the sunset with a big stack of cash, you know, and have all my stuff set up for my family and my future.
There you go. For all the fight fans, especially with my following with boxing, let them know a little bit of the podcast you're doing and any other project you're doing out, you know, when you're not fighting. You know, could you let them know where to find?
I'm a jack of all trades, man. Like I said, I'm a hustler, man. From morning, the crack of daylight till the end of night, you know. So I'm working. I do my own editing for my blogs and stuff. I got my podcast, The Weekly Scraps. I've been doing that, tinkering some stuff, and then, you know, I'm just trying to bring some people on to kind of help alleviate some of the time that it consumes when I'm doing that. Because to do all the timestamps and all that, it takes a lot of time, and to be editing the videos and posting everything. So I got a guy, Cody Murrow, who's helping me out a lot with that on the podcast side of things, you know. So that's become a little bit more manageable in terms of time. I'm still getting in my training. I teach full time at the gym. Well, I wouldn't call full time, but I teach 3 days a week, and it's a pretty hectic schedule, you know, especially coaching high school wrestling. So that's on top of teaching the MMA classes and some of the sparring classes at the gym, and doing all these things and trying to manage your life as a full-time fighter as well. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes, as well as some real estate. I'm heavy into real estate, and I'm looking to potentially get my 4th property.
Nice.
Right now, I got 2 under my belt. Thank you. I got 1 for myself. I was able to buy my mom a house last year after one of my fights, and thank God for that. I was able to make that deal close for Mother's Day, so that was a blessing. And it's all fortunate. I'm unfortunate all because of what I chose to do in life. You know, I could have been a gym teacher. I got my college degree. It's always my fallback plan. And there's other options for me out there. You know, I even applied for the FDNY. So if I push comes to shove, I got all these doors and opportunities. I started acting. I'm actually in 50 Cents for Life. I think my episode actually aired this past Tuesday. So I'm going to try to – I actually missed it because I got busy, caught up with training, and I was just zombie land. So I just kind of hung out. But I'm going to watch that.